Hello, this is Professor Campbell with Effective Strategies for Passing the CPA Exam. It's a roadmap to manage the project of the CPA exam, and you become the project manager. You need to understand the CPA exam structure, what's involved, develop a study plan around that, and most important, apply Bloom's taxonomy to the CPA exam preparation. You're probably saying, what? Well, that's a little secret that professors usually know about the Bloom's taxonomy. So auditing and attestation is one of the areas. It's a 4-hour exam. Financial accounting and reporting covers the financial statement preparation. And taxation and regulation covers ethics, business laws, professional responsibilities, property transactions, tax returns, and a potpourri of whatever else didn't fall into an audit or an attestation function or the financial and reporting function. So we have two different types of formats of questions: multiple choice, which you're very familiar with. You get 4 answers. If you're not sure which one, you can try all 4 of them in the formula or try all 4 of them in the to get the answer. But we don't want to do that. We want to not use as much guesswork as possible. And so doing multiple choice questions for remembering and understanding and calculation are most important. You must drill yourself and know how to do all of those. Now, the task-based simulations are open-ended questions. And hopefully, when you were taking accounting exams in college, you had a smart professor that gave task-based simulations. They gave open-ended questions. They're the hardest ones to grade for professors. So a lot of them shy away. So maybe they only put 2 or 3 of these questions on the exam, and they were probably one of the hardest ones to do, and you had the most points available on those open-ended questions. So if you haven't had open-ended questions in your accounting classes, by all means, find a way to find as many of these open-ended questions. You don't have the answer, you have to develop the answer yourself. So how do we allocate the multiple choice questions and the task-based? Well, we can see the number of questions in auditing is around 80, but multiple choice questions in FAR are about 50. Sounds like FAR is going to be much easier. Not exactly. FAR has much more calculations involved and more actually doing something. So application, preparation of something, calculating capital gains, calculating a balance sheet item, calculating something, calculating financial ratios. Those are all in FAR. So a lot less memorization and more doing something. So task-based simulation, yeah, we only have about 7 or 8 per unit, but they're equally weighted. So the multiple choice and the task-based are equally weighted, and you need to devote as much time to both of them. So on average, the multiple choice questions take about 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes at the most in the FAR section, because you have to do the calculations. And task-based take about 17.5 minutes with only about 15 minutes in the regulation. So they're a little bit lighter on time in regulation, and I believe there's more of them. That's why the time is less. So how do you establish a realistic timeline for this CPA exam? Allocate your study time. See how much time you can invest. You should invest about 100 hours per section. So don't expect to do this right away. Remember, this is not a 1 or 2 hour exam that you took in college. It's 4 hours long, and you're going to need all 4 hours. You need to be able to practice in your study time. Do you have the stamina? Do you have that marathon mind that you can go for 4 hours on one topic like auditing? Okay. Assess your strengths and weaknesses. So take a good hard look at what you were strong at and what you cheated yourself out of and you're weak. Now you're going to have to fill in the time there. Okay. So select your resource materials. There's online courses, there's practice exams, there's review materials, and there's review courses that work very well and are structured around the blueprint as well. So the key to retention, this is the important thing. Taking a 2-hour exam, you can rely on short-term memory. Taking a final exam, you can rely on short-term memory and a little bit of practice, and you probably burn the midnight oil at the last minute for your final exam. You're not going to be able to do that on the CPA exam. You need to use retention tools. And retention tools mean that you must actively engage in preparation work. You must actually do something with your hands. And the best way to do things is with pencil and paper. Draw notes, write notes, draw diagrams, redraw the illustration in your textbook. Never stare at screens, even if it's the best video or some other lecture, because it doesn't produce memorable results. The CPA exam has been restructured to kind of give you a blueprint involved in what kind of things are remembering and understanding tasks, what kind of tasks would apply, be a preparation of something, a preparation of financial statements, income tax returns, audit reports, and what type of skills are analyzing. Where do you need to look back and analyze on something? So evaluation is only done in auditing, and that's how you use your judgment. Can you make a judgment and can you draw conclusions? So pay attention to the blueprint and the types of Bloom's taxonomy. So as you go up the triangle, you have a higher level of cognitive skills, and fewer people have those cognitive skills as well. We don't address creative as an accounting. It's kind of shunned on to be creative with your books. So integrate those Bloom's taxonomy into your studying strategies. See what your strengths are. Are your strengths at memorizing? Then spend more time on analyzing and evaluation. If you're very good at analyzing evaluation, but you're very poor at memorizing things, then allocate more time to that level. There's more on this and how your personality and other strengths and weaknesses play into a little SWOT analysis in this workbook, and a few other things that will explain the Bloom's taxonomy and how that affects your approach to your study materials in more detail. So by all means, my book is available on Amazon. And that concludes our review of how to plan and approach this CPA exam. Just keep in mind, once you pass the CPA exam, you'll never have to pass it again. That means it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.